Hello everyone, I'm Aki, and welcome back to another video. So for one of our practice classes, our current assignment is to make a passion project, and I decided to go with an animated music video to Living Dead Youth by Kenshi Yonezu. It's gonna take a fucking while. Not to mention, I've been like 1 week out of the hospital at this point. And my butt hurts, and I can't sit for more than 40 minutes. Okay, so currently I'm working on the lyrics part of the video. What I've got so far is all this is the text. I'm using cinematic bars to host the text in. I'm mainly doing this because one, the cinematic look is cool and absolutely no one is gonna fucking watch this on a widescreen monitor. And it's nice to have like the original kanji and hiragana, katakana characters on the top and then just English at the bottom. I will probably also make a version without the cinematic bars, just to have a full screen version to hand in as well. It's not that much work. I mean, I'm almost done. Like there's, if it would focus, there's this, and only this part is repeated. And then I have like a chunk more to go, like about here, and there's also a chunk here. Find your song text. Organize your song text in a grid by kanji, romanji, and English translation. Copy a chunk of kanji, open it in Google Translate, paste it, check if the romanji is correct, look for the part where your audio is supposed to be, check if it's accurate, duplicate your text, paste, find where your clip of text is supposed to end, check the translation of your text, check the part of your translation that fits that general description, copy, open your folder for the English, open the folder for the English text boxes, copy, replace text, and place at the same time as your Japanese clip. Then rinse and repeat till all your text is covered. Okay, so I have edited the footage. I edited the song to be a bit shorter so I can actually finish it. Now it's 2 minutes and a half instead of 4.5, which is a lot of fucking time, especially for animation. I just cut my workload in half, so that's good. Because I am still on the deadline, and I gotta make that deadline, and I also have other things to do. I went through basically every site that offers free stock video, and also a couple sites that offer free stock images, so that I have a lot of background material to work with. Because I'm out of the hospital, I still can't go to school, and I still can't like go all over the country to gather video material, and I can't stay out for too long, so I gathered as much material as I can so that I have a lot to work with in the time that I cannot record. That, and there's a lot of shots and stuff that I just can't record here in the Netherlands because they don't exist, or I just can't reach, so that's good. I edited the background in Photoshop so that I can have like a stage. There weren't any pictures of stages from the bottom outside, so I just used a bunch of stairs, and I'm going to edit with that, so that's fun. Yeah. So here's some materials that I'm gonna be recording. I already did this one in stop motion by putting on video and then rotating the doll repeatedly. And here's a music box, which I am going to put in front of the camera and then pull open with this little thing on a string. I don't know where the string went. This is working less well than I expected. I'm gonna have to stick that down to the table. Well, the floor, I guess. Then there's this, which is a thing I made a couple years ago, which fuck it, I'm gonna use. And this maneki neko. And doing all of this in front of this makeshift studio thing, which is a canvas and a large sheet of paper stuck to the floor. Yes. Also, glow sticks. Okay, so I'm going to roll up the glow sticks. Well, first I'm going to break the glow sticks and throw them on the floor like sticks. And then I'm going to circle the glow sticks and throw them on the floor. And I'm going to do this with a little tripod and also a couple of shots, just handheld. I swear to God, this thing is the most useful thing I've ever bought in my life. Get a phone tripod. They're cheaper than a camera. Okay, so we have our floor. We have our glow sticks. I'm gonna have to turn off the lights for this one. I'll be able to see in my room just enough. I can see just enough to make things out. The camera can't see shit, so that's good. I may have let these lie all too long. Nothing. Absolutely zilch. Zero. Just nothing. Just absolutely nothing. I'm gonna see if putting these in the fridge does anything. I hope it does. So I'm gonna go record more live action footage because I do not have enough of that and I have some ideas. There's the bunch of plushies that I used. My camera on a box. There's the noose and the thing. And there's a bunch of other stuff. So yeah. So here's the animation file. Like usual, I started out with a general rough sketch of animated aspects of the video. There's a lot of those. The rough animation also doesn't have all of the frames that are used in the complete animation. For the basic fact that drawing so many roughs would, in this situation, take too much time, and I did not have that time. So instead I mapped out the keyframes in roughs and then did the in-betweens just as in-betweens, which you can see if I add the regular animation layer, and you can see how they move at slightly different paces. For the line art in this situation, I used a pure round brush that I made myself in the program, which is, by the way, making a brush in GV Paint is absolute hell and I don't recommend it. From there on, I turned on the good old green screen background, with which I mean that I just fill in the entire background green. It's sufficient. And from there on I did the same thing that I did with the lyrics, which is fill in the entire thing in white and then use the fill bucket tool instead to erase. And select the source for display. And as a result, you'll have this, like a little animation cell thing. This ended up going on for several layers, mainly because some of the layers had objects moving at different speeds. For example, here's the overlapping animation of the smoke on top of the character, and they move at different speeds. I had to separate the layers, if not Twixtor would start doing really weird things. I also had several photo objects inserted in this, which I also had to make an animation mat. Because of how After Effects works with transparent video, it doesn't take transparent MOV files, so I had to turn off the background and export the full animation layers and then also export the animation with only the layer matte, so without the line art but only the part that was filled in, so that I can use a Luma stencil to only show the animation instead of the entire black thing. And because if it showed the entire black thing, I wouldn't be able to edit it onto a background. So I exported all of that, and that was a fucking nightmare. So now that all of the animation is complete, it's time to throw it in After Effects. Right here I have one of the merge layers. Because some of the things are animated at different speeds, I exported everything several different times because there is also one layer where it's everything together at the same time, and that's what this is. So here you can see we have that, and as I said, I have the blending mode of the flat layer set to stencil Luma. Because of the Luma stencil, it makes it transparent. So I can do this. If Luma stencil isn't on, then this would just be black. I also applied Twixtor to all of these layers, and Twixtor is a plugin that generates frames between other frames. My computer does not like it because it's just terrifyingly underqualified for this, but it works. That's also why some of the animation parts have only 2 frames, because it only needs to move between those 2 frames, and I didn't want to like animate anything else because I am on a deadline and I have shit to do. After that, I edited all the backgrounds and all the characters together to try and get some semblance of unity in this. And after that, I split those layers up so that I had a layer that's only the background and only the character animation. And I needed the layer of only the background so that I could do this and add a single solid layer above every single cut with the color blending mode. And you'll see right now, if I turn this off, then it's the regular colors, but with this on, it's just all green. And that's to create a semblance of unity in the entire thing. And also because black and white characters on monochrome backgrounds look really cool. Right here, I have to add some of the layer parts back together to first off merge the character and background layers once more. And also because at some point during the process I decided to shorten the song again, but I was also already in the middle of editing. My editing and animation wasn't linear. I animated a bunch, composited a bunch, and then figured out what I needed to put in those blank spaces because it would help me figure out the entire video more. So I had to cut those 2 parts back together, and then we're on to the final mix and effects composition. Most of this was 3D overlays and Video Copilot Twitch. I use Video Copilot's Twitch to just add random small twitches of a couple pixels to keep some more movement in and to distract from my mistakes, which is also somewhat of the same reasons that the RGB split effect is on here. I made the RGB split effect by duplicating every layer 3 times and then by adding an exclusive channel effect, which makes sure that it only keeps that channel. So if I put RGB blue on here, it only keeps the blue channel, and vice versa. And then I set all of those to add, and if I move any of them, it'll do this, which adds a really cool effect. Because the black and white character on a fully colored background looked a little bit awkward still, I decided to add the RGB split effect to kind of merge everything together more. And also, it partially hides the Twixtor artifacts, which is what happens when Twixtor doesn't completely know how to make something move correctly. That and the RGB split effect allows you to make cooler transitions between cuts, and keeping a constant RGB split over it makes it not seem as out of nowhere. So yeah. Also, rendering took like crazy long because there's a couple times where I made accidental mistakes during the editing that I didn't catch before rendering it, so then I looked at the final render and it was fucked up. Rendering also took like a consistent 80 to 90% of my computer's entire CPU, even though I had literally every other program turned off. So yeah, my computer is not exactly made for this. So the final rendering time of everything put together ended up being well over like 40 hours. I'm sad. I want to die. It took so long.